forgive us. So I'll take the blame for that. Thank you for being here for the 7th session of the Community Conversations program, and lovely to see you. Today's discussion will be about money. We talked about money last week. We're going to talk about money this week as well, but really from a different angle. We're going to talk about donations. We're going to talk about the funds network. We're going to talk about the philosophy of donating locally. Where people make their wealth, they could spend their wealth. So instead of donating in other areas, other communities, overseas potentially, this whole philosophy is about you donate where the wealth itself was generated. Sheikh Janabi does not need an introduction, but he doesn't have his Islamic hat and his Arabic 101 hat on today. He comes to us as one of the founders of the Funds Network. MashaAllah, for those of you who don't know, he's quite an accomplished dentist. He's such a good dentist that he can't just practice in London, and he has to go across the country to practice in Halifax as well. MashaAllah, a businessman who runs a number of practices, very successful, may Allah bless him. And also in his heart, he takes the concept of donations and wealth very, very seriously with a high level of accountability. So we figured we'd give him the mic today. He can talk about the philosophy itself and also about what Funds Network is and what it has accomplished in the past. So you can hold us accountable and hold him accountable in terms of the work that he does. Funds Network is a sister organization of wellness. So technically it's separate, but we do collaborate quite heavily in terms of the donation work that is done locally. So with that, I'll pass it on to Sheikh Janabi.
الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Thank you very much, Khalid, for this very generous and very nice introduction. I don't deserve most of it, but Jazakallah khair. Thank you for coming, and I do apologize for the late start. I'll dive right into it. So today I'm going to talk about two things, or one thing, and then the solution or the proposed solution. So the concept that we're talking about today is the concept so simple that when I was putting together this very short and humble presentation, I was thinking it's so simplistic that it's hard to talk about. You know, there are some ideas that are so clear, so simplistic, so self-evident, so to speak. It's hard to talk about because you really have to go to the basics of the basics. But alhamdulillah, inshallah, I brainstormed and I will put together, inshallah, a little bit of a talk about it, and then feel free to stop me at any time for a question, for a disagreement, that's okay, or for a comment. I would like this to be interactive. So we have a small team, inshallah, if, we can discuss things, and the idea is to walk out of this meeting, inshallah, having some value and some benefit. With that concept, I'm going to talk about Funds Network, which is basically a non-for-profit organization that we put together in 2024. So we've been operating now for 2 years. The main concept or the main goal for Funds Network is to collect zakat, and to collect zakat locally, to take it from local wealths, and to distribute it to locally to people who need it. And that's really all we do. And because I believe in attacking small projects or one project and trying to get to master it and getting successful at it, over being spread over multiple goals, and then you become jack of all trades, but really you don't master one of them. So that's what we do. But there's a little bit more to it. So just a quick introduction to this, inshallah. So the value of giving locally, this is what we're going to talk about, the significance. Why do we talk about this? Like isn't that clear to everyone that yeah, this is where you put your wealth? It seems no. It seems it's not clear after this and talking to people. There's a disagreement. A lot of people they don't think that we shouldn't give locally, but they don't really see the value and how important it is to actually start locally. And it's also compounded by all the international crises we see all over the place, and we feel responsible. We have a privilege in quotes life, so therefore we have to be We have to support our brothers and sisters internationally, and I agree with that. I don't disagree, obviously, but I propose a different angle at it. So the value, number one, there is a significant growth in the Muslim community. And it's according to the 2021 census, there's 45,000 Muslims in London. And a census happened this year, 2026. It'll be it's sad that I actually know this. The results will be released during 2027. I don't know why it takes them a full year to actually release the results. Maybe there's a lot to it. And I'm interested to see after 5 years what the new numbers would be. I actually follow this because you have to understand who you're serving and how many people there is. Arabic, which is my language, but also it's kind of like the religious language of any Muslim, has to have some sort of Arabic, is the second spoken language in London. So we're a very, very significant community in London, very significant. I thought French or Mandarin would be number two. No. By far, Arabic is the second spoken language. You didn't know that, huh? It's very, very, it was very interesting to me to see it. And it reflects the, so in London, there's 7% of the population is Muslim. Generally in Canada, it's 5%. So you can think this shows you there's there's higher percentage. Not higher numbers, but higher percentage. And focusing on the internal problem. So I'll just give you a little introduction of Funds Network. I just said that's a non-for-profit organization. The members, really, the founding members was myself and Sheikh Ahmed Al-Ubaidi and Sheikh Imran. Sheikh Imran is not with us anymore, so it's a team of two. But these are like on paper, our names are there, but we work with the Shabab. There's probably more than 15 to 20 of the young Shabab who come and help us in the different projects that I will talk about. This is us, and that's I'll put this slide at the end so you know where to find us. So our mission is to do this. I would like to, and I will talk about the concept, but also with it, I'll talk about Funds Network, because I think one of the ways to achieve this goal, so I'll talk about the two things together. The concept of giving locally, but also how we do it. So what we like to do, I would like to, number one, support the community at the ground level. There's so many issues that a lot of us those who came 15, 20 years ago and are established might not really see. And I didn't know about all this, but now after talking to people who came to the country, especially as refugees, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues that I was never really aware about. And I would like to, and our mission is to address these issues. Develop local projects. We have very few of those. We're good at building masajid, but we need schools, we need hospitals, we need banks, there's other local projects that will serve, that number one will represent our values as Islamic values, but also serve our communities. There's really not a lot of it, and I know Khalid and his team are part of the Awqaf London, all that, and now we start to see this at different places. People are thinking about, listen, now we're a big large community, and we need to have a little bit of more of centralized finances. Now it's happening. It's sprouting in different places. Like we're thinking alike in different places, and I like that. It means a lot of people are seeing the same problem, and they're suggesting solutions to that. In addition to that, there's some long-term investment, and I'm going to say I'm going to say a statement that I have no evidence to it, except it's anecdotal, completely anecdotal. 90%, at least, of us will live all their lives in this country. Sure, one day you think you might go back and do that and save the country. You think that, right? I would like to wager that 90% of us will live all our lives here, especially if you've been living here for 10, 15 years. Very difficult. Yeah, I know, you're going to go and save the country. I know that, right? But I would like to say that So therefore, this gives you, this puts a little bit of an extra responsibility to us, those who attend the masajid. What's going to happen for the next generation? What are we going to leave for them? And that's where long-term investment comes. And then it doesn't have to be just with myself. I think every one of us should have some sort of long-term investment awqaf for the future. So, where does this come from? Honestly, this should be the last hadith, the last slide, and we go home, because this is the word of the Prophet ﷺ. And I'm not here to add to what the Prophet ﷺ says, but to explain. This is a short hadith. When Sayyidina Nabi ﷺ sent Mu'adh to Yemen as a ruler, or as a qadi, as a judge, he gave him some instructions regarding their active worships and all that, and it's a very known hadith. It's been recited here, narrated here multiple times. But he said this. He said, if they agree to salah, then teach them about zakat, about financial. First you build their spirituality, and then after that they have to support each other. So this is what you have to do. إن الله افترض عليهم زكاة في أموالهم تؤخذ من غنيهم فترد على فقيرهم. So the scholars are very specific with the wording of these ahadith. When it says غنيهم, فقيرهم, it means they're the rich from among them, and to be given to the poor from among them. It means keep the wealth inside this community. Don't bring it. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say, take their zakat and bring it to me, I know what to do with it. He did not say that. He said, you take it from those who have it, and then you give it to those who need it in the community. And honestly, I don't need to add to this. Scholars said that's it. Zakat is different than any other type of donations and fundraising. It's very different. It's a specific amount of money. And this is not a lecture about fiqh zakat. I've done that. Sheikh Abdan has done it. This is not the place to talk about fiqh, the jurisprudence of zakat. But I'm just going to give you a little introduction about zakat. A small idea. Zakat is a certain amount of money, that is a percentage that is taken from a certain amount of money that you have. It's taken from a certain amount of people to be given to certain certain type of people, to be given to a certain type of people. There's no flexibility in it, really. It is not when you take $100 and you give it to someone, you say, do whatever, the masjid, do whatever you want to do with it. The people in the masjid take it, they do the parking lot, they paint the wall. No. Zakat is specific on every step. It's one of the pillars of strength of Muslim community. And there's a reason for that, and we'll talk about it, inshallah. Now, I think there are, and this could change in every community, every time, but I think the source of strength of Muslims over the past 100 years, if you read the history, you'll see there's three things that always have always given strength to the Muslim community. Number one is they have centralized financial system. Zakat is always taken and distributed. There's always this financial support. Number two, obviously, the knowledge and the ethical system that they have. These three things are therefore, all these three things are targeted. Because these are this is why you're strong, because you have these. And if you look, I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but look at how these three things are targeted on a daily basis. Your finances is always targeted. Your ethics are always targeted, and your knowledge is always targeted. And I put zakat number one because that's what I'm talking about today. So zakat, this is what. So as I said, zakat is a very specific thing. It's a precise percentage of money taken from certain amount of money, from certain type of people to be given to a certain type of people. It is not for you to do whatever you want to do with it. The 8 type of people, it should be given locally. Doesn't mean that you cannot take part of your zakat and give it to your family back home. I'm not saying you can't. But there's a lot of ahadith and a lot of in the tradition The Prophet ﷺ in one hadith says, Wallahi la yu'min, Wallahi la yu'min, Wallahi la yu'min. So he 3 times he said he's not, this person that I'm going to mention has not really understood the concept of iman, there's something missing there. He said, Man bata shab'an wa jaruhu ja'i'. That those who sleep with a full belly and comfortable, and then your neighbor, next door neighbor, next street neighbor, whatever the case may be, your neighbor, the person in your vicinity is hungry. What does the Prophet ﷺ is trying to teach you is to be mindful of your local surroundings. Because it doesn't make any sense that you feed someone in Mississauga, yet you have a lot of people here who need it. In my mind, it doesn't make any sense. And there's really no flexibility in zakat. This is what scholars say. You give it to the 8 categories. You can't be flexible with it. You can't just do. Some scholars say that even if there's no needy, no one needs zakat money, you keep it for the next year. You keep it. There's always going to be a rainy day. Now, the 8 categories that receive zakat, very well known. Surah At-Tawbah, very well known. I'm not going to go over. The fuqara wal masakin. This word sometimes is interchangeable. One of them has no money. The other type has a little bit, but it's not enough. Scholars do not agree which one is which, but it doesn't matter. One of them is like that. One of them has absolutely no money. Faqir has absolutely no money. And miskin has a little bit, but it's not enough. And that's considered poverty. Islamically, if you work, but you cannot make ends meet, then you go under that. Number 3 is amilin alayha. I put a line there, and I'll come back to it. Amilin alayha are those who collect, spend time, invest their time and their effort, even if they're rich. They're allowed to take a part of it. Al-mu'allafati qulubuhum, those who are new to Islam, or you want to, you just give a present and something like that. I would like to say maybe converts are part of this. Fi riqab, we don't have that. Al-gharimin, those are in debt. Basically all of us. If you have a mortgage, you're in debt. You're in debt. If your net worth is minus, you're in debt. Khalas. Fi sabilillah, those who protect you. Some people say, those who go to Hajj, they don't have money. طلاب العلم, sometimes they go under that. Ibn al-Sabil, even if you're rich, you have money back home, but you're stranded here for some reason, you can't go home, you don't have access to your bank account, whatever the case may be, then you go follow. Now, these things are very specific. Now, number 3 is where, and I don't want anyone to take it personally, but that number 3, amina alayha, we have taken it and stretched it and interpret that to the maximum. Amina alayha, that's it, right? Imam al-Shafi'i says in his madhab that you have to make say your zakat is $1,000, you have to divide it by 8, and each category gets 1/8 of it. Other madhahib, they don't ask you to do that. You can take all the $1,000 and give it to one of those people. That's okay, right? But number 3 is not a green card for everyone, like myself who works on this, to say, oh yeah, well that's it. Now I have my salary. No, it's actually, this is where there's a lot of misunderstanding. That's a very polite way to say it. It's misunderstood. Now, the question is this, and is there poverty in Canada? Now, for some of you might say, well, of course, why are you even asking this question? Believe it or not, I spoke with people who believe there's no poverty here. Because in their mind, if you're poor, you have to be, wearing one piece of clothing and sleeping in a tent somewhere. But this is not the definition of poverty here. This is type of it. That the image you have in your mind is type of it. But it's not the definition that you find here. Because every community, poverty here will lead to certain issues down the road, and I'll talk about them. And every community, you hold them to their standards. Today, an adult who has no access to, say, a computer to do work or to, might consider poor, because they need that. Because nowadays you cannot work without, we cannot study, you cannot do anything without access to technology. Now, especially since 2019-20 and now, those 5 years, if you go to Costco and you pay the bill, you understand what I'm talking about. And I took this from the Government of Canada website that I love. It's my homepage. It's not, I'm joking. But I like it because there's a lot of these information that we're not aware, and you read it, sometimes it's shocking because you feel it, you go, what's going on? And then you look it up, they give you the numbers. They do a lot of work. They do a lot of work, a lot of good work. And there's a lot of numbers, and I advise you to actually, if you're interested, look at it. Now, poverty rate has gone up a lot, and we'll talk about this. Now, mainly in London, we have the vulnerable sector. I was shocked to see these numbers. According to 2021 census, there's this many, 27 and change thousand refugees, members who came from these countries. These are top countries, right? There's more. Not all the 27,000 are Muslim and they deserve zakat, not all of them. Maybe half of them, let's say, from these countries. Familiar, these countries? What is the common denominator? War and torn countries, all these people probably lived in camps before coming. They come with a lot of health issues, with a lot of mental issues, poverty, etc., etc. And that's the website. Now, in 2020, the estimate is going to be 40,000, and London seems to be a hub. I think community, we attract that because there are families and relatives, so they come in. And most of the people I deal with they fall under this. They fall under this, they come from this background. Very alarming number. Now, the government do help them, right? And probably the government aid up to 2020, 2021 was enough. Now it's not. It is not, and I'll show you a little example. So this is I'm not in advertising for Costco, but this is where most people go. 2021, if you buy this, so this is just an estimated for 4 people. In 2019, you would have paid $800, the same amount. Now you pay this much, almost 15, like half, right? And these are true numbers. They are true numbers, a little bit rounded up, but true numbers. And you feel it, right? When like all of a sudden everything is more expensive and the quantities are smaller, right? I talk to people, they haven't eaten fruit in some time, right? They just can't afford it. Very expensive. Now you might say, well, listen, wages went up. I say, yeah, sure. Look at the change in wages. The percentage is 28% in minimum wage. That didn't even kick in yet. That's effective October 2026, right? So in a couple of months, it didn't even kick in. There's this amount of difference. There's 56% increase in food versus 20. There's more. There's a gap. There's less money to be made and more money to be spent, right? Where is this? Who's filling this gap? That's the question. That's that. There's a term for that I didn't know, but I learned the term. And this is what it calls. It's called deep income poverty. It's basically miskeen. Short for miskeen is when you make enough, when you work, you have a steady income, but it's just simply not enough. Simply not enough. There's a gap. You need this boost monthly. And we do have people like that we help that fall into this category. And this is considered as poverty. If you work, even if you own a car, even if you pay a mortgage, but you do not pay, you're having difficulty getting ends meet, and you're getting into debt, this is considered as poverty here in this country. Basically, this is the definition from their website. Unable to buy a standardized basket of goods and services, etc., etc. Basically, you have, but not enough. Now, these are basic human needs. I'm going to skip this, but this is considered to be basic needs. It is not only you have to have a shelter, You have to have education, some sort of access to education, in addition to food, etc., etc. Right? Now, what is the problem of not dealing with these things? And this is just some of the reasons why I didn't put this together. It's there online. And you look at it, these conditions, people who are living in these conditions are subject to this. Limited access to health care, causing health issues. A lot of things are not covered. Mental health challenges, especially with children and young teens. Food insecurities and poor nutrition. Lower education. High risk of unemployment. And you may read it. What scares me is they're more vulnerable to crime and exploitation. Criminality is also an issue, is a product of poverty. Because people see each other and they want to have that, and then they get into different routes to make money. Now, okay, I hope I made my case that there's a need, but what to do there? So I'm proposing a model. And this is what we're doing this is how Funds Network was put together according to this model. Number one is solely based on volunteers. If you work with me, you're not going to get paid. Make money somewhere else. You're going to put your time for free with me. I'm not paying you, period. And if you can't, you can't. I respect that. Because if I hire you, then all of a sudden it's a business. And that's the problem that we're falling into. That a lot of these charities and all that, it's public information, and I don't want to mention names of anyone, but a lot of them they work like businesses. There's an employees list and all that. I don't want to do that. I want to have zero. I want you, if you give me your zakat, it's all going to go to the 8 categories. Rest assured that nothing of it is going to be, there's no overhead. Low overhead or zero overhead, and it's going to be for local projects. That's why I don't accept money from outside of London, because if I do, I have to pay people outside London. I don't. I take it from here, min aghniyaihim, and we give it back to fuqara'ihim. That's our, I'm not saying this is the only working model. I'm not saying that. You may say, listen, I have a project somewhere else. That's what I do, no problem. But this is what we like to do. Full transparency, it's very clear and very, very, very simple. The goal is to do this. Right now, I don't think we can afford not becoming a community. Sheikh Adnan last year gave khutbah or series of khutbahs regarding the 5 sectors, how we have to centralize finances and education, empowerment, etc. I'll come to that. One of them was financial centralization. And he mentioned that as number 4 or 5. I can't remember which one it was, or second. I think it's number 1. I think because if you're not satisfied financially, you will never be able to seek knowledge. I get people who volunteer, and all of a sudden they lose their job. They say, "Listen, give me some time. I cannot help you anymore. I need 3-4 months to restable, to get back on the wagon." Right? I think finances. It depends, but I think in this community, financial centralization is number 1. We take care of our own. Because when you're small, fragmented groups of people, each is doing the same, is doing their own thing, I think we have to come together and work in unison. At Funds Network, I have a list we've been putting together since we started a couple of years ago. I have more than 50, 60 families. Those families include, I select them by recommendation. So you come to me, you say, listen, I have my neighbor, he's not doing well, he's got a lot of children, et cetera, you know, I'm not going to go and ask for a long list of financial statements and humiliate the person. That's not how we do it. I can tell. Usually single mothers, widows, seniors, people with medical conditions, disabilities, people who take care of people, of children or a partner with medical issues or disabilities. Those people will never be able to work. They're just very difficult for them to, no, it's impossible. I think it's our job they're always going to be in need of some sort of assistance. Now, I do get people who are young and they're in debt. I like to encourage financial independence. If you're young and able, I'll look at you with a different eye. I'll say, listen, what's going on? Why can't you work? Maybe you need a little bit of, maybe you have a little bit of debt, maybe you need to pay off tuition, maybe you need to, we get them to some sort of financial independence. And we had that. We had multiple stories actually. We had a lady who we paid her tuition, the fees for a course to as a driver's instructor, and now she's independent, making her own thing, and so we get people like that. But there's a sector that will always be in need. That's the way it is. And and we have a list of 50 to 60 families that we help monthly. Now, this is I need you, because I'm throwing some of the responsibility on the public also. I think we share the responsibility, all of us. The institutions, which I consider myself part of it, but also the public. I don't agree with you walking into a random place, institution, a charity, a mosque, and you don't know who they are. You have no idea what they will do with the money, and just give it and walk out. You feel good because, okay, alhamdulillah, I did that, jazakallah khair. But I think right now there's so much of this. There's so much around you. I counted in Ramadan, past Ramadan, more than I counted up to 40, and then I stopped because I got tired. 40 charities that advertise on my Facebook page. All of it. Did you get that? Did you guys get it? All of it paid advertise. Who do you go with? How do you pick, and how do you choose? It's so confusing. So it numbs your senses. You have no idea what is going on there. I'm giving you my 2 cents on what I think the problems with a lot of the models that we have around. Not all of them, but some of it, without mentioning names. Number one, there's a huge, high domestic burnout, which means, it means there's a lot of money that are kept justified because of reasons. Some of it is because I'm advocating for you, I'm doing this, etc., etc. We don't know. There's no clear indication how much of this money is staying, how much. They call it domestic burnout. We don't know where the money goes when it comes to that. There's high cost of unnecessary paid marketing. There's these ads on Facebook and social media are so expensive. They're so expensive, and there's just so much of it. For a full month, we were flooded with these ads. Who is paying for all that? Where is the money coming from? Inter-charity donations. That's also another thing. I take the money, but I don't know what to do with it. So I take my part, as Ameen Alayha, and I send the second part to the portion to a different charity. They do their thing, and they probably send it to a different charity, and it goes like that. That's also heavily staffed teams. Go online, and you see that there's like charities, 300 and 400 people working on it, like it's a huge machine, it's a business. Where's the money coming from? Who's paying for those people? And also, there's a heavy focus on attractive international projects. If I go to a young individual and I say, listen, do you want to donate $1,000 to build a school here, or you want to go to Africa and dig a well? He's going to pick Africa because it's cooler. There's photos, there's more, it feels better to do it that way, right? We don't, all this money, good, collected. Then what happened here in London? Nothing happened since Ramadan. Nothing was built. Nothing. What happened? What happened here? Where are the local projects that that we would like to see? So I'm advising you. All charities' financial information is on this website. It's hard to read if you don't have, but you'll learn. If you don't know how to read financial statements, it's going to be a little bit hard at the beginning. But if you're planning to build wealth, you have to understand how to read these documents. It's all there. It's all there. All the information. This is my second favorite website after YouTube. Read it. Do your due diligence. Legal doesn't mean it's halal or sunnah. It doesn't. There's a lot of things that are legal in this country. You can do it. Like riba, right? Riba's interest is legal, but it's not halal for us, right? The ability to put it together doesn't mean that it should be done this way. And institutions and businesses should operate according to the sunnah. So you cannot serve your deen by contradicting your deen. It doesn't work that way. You cannot lie to prove a point. Even if your point is correct, you can't do it that way. If you're doing it, it means you're actually disproving because you're saying that my values cannot defend themselves. You can't do that. You can't do it that way. So either we do it the right way or let someone else do it. This is what I'm suggesting. Not at Funds Network, we don't do any of that. But this is as a global. We do the first one only. Sorry, we don't do all of it. I mean, that's what I meant to say. I think we have to budget. If you have, you want to donate, people are very generous here. There's a lot of wealth, mashallah, and there's a lot of generosity. I've seen people come in and they put $10,000 and $100 and $50. There's a lot of wealth. And I think we have the responsibility to actually use it in the correct way. So this is what I suggest. It's a three-tier budgeting system. Number one, 70% of your zakah and your donations in general, maybe zakah, should go towards local projects. What do we need? That's locally. It'll strengthen your community and it'll make you stronger and better to do the other two. Second is the long-term investment. What are we going to leave to the next generation? What are we going to do? What I think this is a question we all have to ask ourselves. What's going to happen in 30, 35 years, right? We received something. We have inherited certain status quo, and that's the best they could have done the previous generation. How are we going to improve that? And especially now, things are moving quicker. LMM, the message was built in 1964, and probably in 40 years it grew in a certain way. There's no internet, there's even the community, the Muslim community is smaller. Now, we grew in 4 years more than that because it's just that times are different. The question is this: what's going to happen in 25 years? What are we going to do? What are we doing today? What trees are we planting today for them to grow so we can harvest fruit in 25 years? I don't want to take too much of time, so I need to move. And after that, global compassion or international cause, there's absolutely no problem. Of course, our brothers and sisters everywhere are suffering. There's crises everywhere. Every country, whatever country you come from, the people are suffering over there. I understand that. And then we budget for that. We, at Funds Network, we focus on 1 and 2. 3, there should be someone else who does it. You're right, shukran, thank you for this. But the way we do it, I'll explain it in 1 second, okay? The way we do it. Huh? He said, awqaf should not be part of zakat. And that's great, but I have a loophole around it. The responsibility is shared. These are the 5 sectors that Sheikh Adnan talked about, and just as a reminder. I'm going to go directly to your question, so I don't waste time. Okay. So this is how we do it. So you donate, your zakat is $1,000. I take it, 85% goes to the eight categories, all of it go to the eight categories, but 15% of it is al-amilina alayha, right? It's our right as an institution because we're working on it, right? But then we don't keep it. We take it and redonate it into the awqaf, exactly. And do you know how much in 2 years we have right now? 90,000, just from that. Do you believe it? Some people come and say, here's $1,000, put it in awqaf. If you tell me this is for awqaf, it'll go there. But that's not my main. My main channel is zakat. But subhanAllah, it's been generating long-term. And this long-term investment will be for the future. So that's how we do it. You're right. But then also, if you have excess, if you have extra zakat amwal funds, you can invest it. You can actually invest it as zakat for the future. All right. So I'm going to go back. Okay. So this is the institution's responsibility. Full transparency. If there's no transparency, don't deal with them. Period. If you don't know where your money is going, take it elsewhere. They have to be qualified and experienced. Mistakes do happen. I understand that. But generally speaking, people they know what they're doing at least. And also there should be proper allocation. You should see the results of what's happening. You can't just give it and it's gone. The public's responsibility. Now, your responsibility. You should hold the institution accountable, right? You ask questions, and I should be able to answer. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. And if you know the answer, you should tell me so you can help me do that. And you should participate in different projects. And the team is only me and Ahmed Al-Ubaid. I just saw him walking in. It's just us with volunteers, a group of volunteers. That's it. We don't have a huge team. No one's paid. We don't have salaries. None of that. So you should be part of it. And you should participate in the funds allocation. Give your opinion, your assessment, where you want the money to go. This is this is just, I'll leave it at the end. I spoke about that. This is what we do very quickly. I don't want to take too much because I think we're almost there. So we have those families. This is how we help them. Monthly we send them money, anywhere between $300 to $500. It depends. They get it. They don't get. It's not in vouchers. It's in funds. It's in funds. They get these monies. These funds go to their bank account. Also, we introduced a monthly food basket, a value of $200. First, I thought it was $200 is this big, by the way. It's a huge basket. And one lady called. She said, "Could you do?" We did it 1 month, and one lady called. She said, "This is my provision for the whole month, and could you do it every month?" And she encouraged us actually to do it every month. So we do that. Seasonal activities. You probably were part of Ramadan. We did the Zakat al-Fitr for 2 years. We did. I'll talk about it. We spoke about that. Ramadan activities. So in Ramadan, we're very active. By the way, people donate their zakat in Ramadan. I understand why, because it's the month of barakah and all that. I understand why. But in reality, there's nothing to do. There's no relationship between zakat and siyam. Because everyone gave their zakat in Ramadan, and I'm still spending. Okay, I understand. Fair enough. But in reality, zakat should be given. You should be in Rajab, he should be in Ramadan, Shawwal. So there's continuous, right? Okay. All right. Fair enough. So last Ramadan, we collected in zakat $130,000. MashaAllah. I'm still, every month, I have, those families receive around $10,000 to $12,000 in helps, in funds. And I'm still using this. I probably I'll finish up maybe in 4 months. because I usually, last year the same thing happened. I cannot reach the next Ramadan but alhamdulillah, this is the way it is. So in Ramadan we did this. We did hot meals. I think some of the shabab were with us in this. There's more than 120, 130 people received actually. I had the shabab that delivered before iftar. It was a beautiful thing. We did it twice, in the middle of Ramadan at the end. We also did zakat al-fitr. We did zakat al-fitr. This amount. I didn't do. I don't know if I did a recap for zakat al-fitr, but this is how much we collected, and all of it, 100% of it, was distributed before Salat al-Eid. No, nothing was left. Before Salat al-Eid, that's why we stopped collecting the day before, because, well, you give me 5, what am I going to do with it? Like, I have to find a way to give it to people. There's only so many. And the payments were all given by bank transfer. And the cash that we collected in the box was given as cash, like that. Udhiyah campaign, this is new. We did it this year. It wasn't perfect, but we learned a lot also. We did Udhiyah. We sacrificed 18 lamb. There's no S, sorry, this is a mistake. I had approximately 800, 900 pounds of meat. I've never seen so much meat in my life. And alhamdulillah, more than 400 people received that. We distributed for 3 days. I learned a lot from that. I know where to go now, because I went to the place where everyone, Islamic Relief and LMM so they were very busy. So now I'm going to probably find someone who's not as busy, so we can support local businesses also, and then we don't have to wait that long. And also, everything was slaughtered before, after Salah, and all the meat was distributed within the 4 days of Eid. So nothing was left, alhamdulillah. We had a lot of volunteers on that day, obviously. Now, this is the awqaf that I have $90,000 invested in real estate. Just from that. Some people, we take the 15% from zakat, but also some people just come and donate directly to awqaf because they believe in that. And you can do that. Yes. Is there a question? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Khalid has been pushing me to do that. In order to become a charity, you have to go, it takes time. But also, you're under higher scrutiny by the CRA, which is fine, where there's nothing, I mean, it's okay. But also you get audited annually. And it costs money to get audited, up to $10,000, correct? Sure, but where is the $10,000 coming from? I understand. I understand, and I agree with you. But who's going to pay for the audit? Where's the money coming from? 15%. Sure, okay. But I only collected 130. 7% of it goes to that. I cannot justify it today. We're working on it. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. We're working on it. Yes, it will encourage bigger checks to come. Yes, but see, my focus is not on how big the check is. My focus is building something that's sustainable, it works. Maybe someone else smarter than me will come and say, okay, let's do it this way, and they will improve it. Yeah, but I know, but it takes 2 years to do it. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Where did the $90,000 get invested?
In real estate. Real estate. Yeah. No, we have someone who actually, with a developer, so, because it was a small amount, so with a developer, give the money and annually we receive the Could you rephrase the question? The investment, yeah? What do you mean by certain projects? We only have one, because the amount is small, it just reached 90. So you're right. You're right. Yeah. Office for what? We don't need an office because I'll pay rent. I don't need an office. You have to understand, I'm working on something that I don't want to waste your money paying overhead. See, this is the thing. I don't want to waste your money. I want the funds to go to where they're intended, to the 8 recipients. If I have an office, now I'm paying rent and utilities, right? Where is the money coming from? I have to justify it. Unless you come tell me, I'll cover all your expenses, then I'll take it. But I cannot justify from zakat money. That's what I'm trying to say. Zakat money is specific.
You try to keep your expenses the least.
Yes,
That's the way it should be.
sure.
For
But
the good cause. But the investment in itself, what is behind it? What is the future of it?
the future is to keep investing.
Invested in real estate. What is the real estate?
The end result is that you get to a certain point where your investment will pay you dividend, which you can use towards projects and zakat.
That is a smart thing.
Yeah, well, we're trying. I'm not. Listen, by the way, I'm not saying this is. I got it. I nailed it down to the. I have financial people here around me. They might laugh and say, "Listen, I can do it better." Sure, I'm open to actually have people come and correct me. But this is one way that I know how to do, right? And I try to keep it simple, because when you keep it simple, you make less mistakes. There's a huge responsibility that I'm dealing with, and people ask me questions, and I want to be, when you keep it simple, you're a little bit less. I think we're at time. Okay, I'll go quickly. Some people ask, okay, well, how do you scrutinize? Like, there's people who could abuse yeah, that happens. There's people who go from one masjid to the other asking for money. That's all they do. But we catch them and that's it. But I don't allow those isolated incidences to actually remove something that's good for people who actually deserve it. So that happens. In every organization, there's going to be people who want to abuse the system. 5%, 2% of. Closing remarks, alhamdulillah. It is everyone's responsibility. Think of the legacy, what's going to happen in 30 years. Just sit tonight and think, what's going to happen? If you have children, what am I leaving my children as a community? You're probably thinking, okay, well, maybe in a couple of years I'll go back to where I'm from and all that, and this will be like a dream that never happened. Chances are you're going to stay here. Chances are, if you've been living here for 10 years, 15 years, you're here. Your children are from this country. You're a Muslim, you're a Canadian Muslim. This is who you are. That's it. Even if you, like myself, I came to Canada 20 years ago, I don't think I can live anywhere else. That's the way it is. Reality of things. And if you don't have it, locally, you'll build a strong community that will possess a lot of strength, financial strength, experience, that could share. If we don't have it, how do you want to build a different city? If you're unable to succeed in building your own community, how would you build a different community? I need also that to be reflected upon. And this is our information, website, and all that. Very simple. And I would like to thank you for your attention. And I don't claim that we have the perfect thing going on, but it's an idea. It's the sunnah, actually, of the Prophet ﷺ. We're trying to practice it. And I'm open for questions or remarks, and even if you disagree with what I said, I won't be offended, wallah. It's part of it.
Jazakumullah khair. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it is Salah time, so can I get a round of applause for Shaykhna, please? And inshallah, he'll be staying after Salah. I'm volunteering your time.
That's
So if you have any questions, feel free to come and
let's do
ask
that.
him. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jazakumullah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا اعتدلوا تراصوا سدوا الخلل close the gaps استووا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم انكدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك كلا بل تكذبون بالدين وإن عليكم لحافظين كراما كاتبين يعلمون ما تفعلون إن الأبرار لفي نعيم وإن الفجار لفي جحيم يصلونها يوم الدين وما هم عنها بغائبين وما أدراك ما يوم الدين ثم ما أدراك ما يوم الدين يوم لا تملك نفس لنفس شيئا والأمر يومئذ لله. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يروي الإمام البخاري